Shalom, shalom. All praise to the Most High. Just wanted to come out and do a little short lesson. This is called Christ is of no effect to you, Israel. So if you're of the house of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then Christ crucified or Yahushua crucified is of no effect to you. It was never brought to you, Israel. You have never needed anyone or anything between you and your God, and that's what has been promoted and pushed. So, but we're going to get right into the class. It's going to be a short, sweet class because I've been telling y'all I was going to get the station crunk up and bomb videos, and I haven't been doing any because I've been just a lot of work, and so I'm going to take time to do the work for my God. This is what this is about. So, Christ is of no effect to you, Israel, if you are of the house of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, of the seed, of the lineage, of the promise, the everlasting covenant that was made in the Torah, the everlasting covenant that was made with Abraham by God. If you're of that household, then hear these words: Christ crucified has no effect to you. Yahushua crucified is of no effect unto you. You merely just had to come back and start keeping the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. And that's merely what was going on with the last great servant of the Most High that came and instructed you to do so. But mankind has put in the scriptures, in the testimony, along beside the true prophet and in the book, they have put their infiltration of their pagan deity there. And we're going to find out exactly where it comes from. Some different resources on showing you a little bit more depth of it. And this is what they're still doing. These alphabet campers, they have the brothers doing exactly the same thing the Christian church is doing. It's parallel to one another and to what they're worshiping. The only difference is that they have said that he's not God, he's the Son of God. Okay, versus the Christian church, they say, oh, he's the Son and he is God. So he birthed himself. And now himself is sitting beside himself. And nobody has seen himself except for himself. But everybody that was on the earth seeing him didn't realize they were seeing God. And they still said nobody had ever seen him. So there's a lot of gobbledygook that's been taught, a lot of gobbledygook that's still trapped in our people's minds, and they just take it, let it ride. So we're going to look at it. Christ is of no effect to you, Israel. Christ is of no effect to you that are born under the laws, statutes, and commandments. The Most High gave you the laws, statutes, and commandments. There was never a sacrifice, a human sacrifice necessary for you to be brought back unto the Most High, other than you turning from this wicked world and keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments again. And that's what the last prophet of the Most High came, and that's what he spoke, and that's what you people have completely ignored. And these alphabet campers are leading a lot more brothers and sisters down a hole that there's virtually no return from, if the Most High doesn't want them to come out of it. But in the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48, it says, laid open the book of the law, and wherein the heathen had sought to paint their likeness of their image. We're going to read that again, but we're going to speak about them according to Genesis. Because if we speak about everything according to the Torah, according to the beginning, we keep a clear understanding of what we're dealing with in the present. And that's what's got a lot of our people lost. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the beast of the field sought to paint a likeness of their image. So, you understand? The beast is what we're dealing with. This is the beast system, the beast image, the image of the beast. That says bonjour. That's also a beast image that these alphabet campers have, that Negro image of him that they call it Yahushua. Same creature, just put a different look on it. Same creature, just put a different look on it. But it says that he had sought to paint their images and laid open the book of the law, and they painted their images. These are heathens. You brothers in these camps, the Most High says you are heathens. You're acting like heathens. You have graven images. And so, because of that, then that's where they, they choose to go against the Most High. So therefore, they're at odds. They place themselves at odds with their own God by desperately seeking to put something else before Him. So we're going to go to the book of Genesis, chapter 5 and verse 4. In the book of Genesis, chapter 5 and verse 4. And the days of Adam were after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begot sons and daughters. Now you understand that this is showing you that there was no effect in there, no Christ in there. It was talking about Abraham and his children being born, the boys. In the days of Abraham, of Adam, I'm sorry, let me read that again. This is Adam. In the days of Adam, after he had begotten Seth, were 800 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Seth lived 105 years, and begot Enos. But now you're looking at the lineage of the time frames on what we were doing at the time when the beast image was being put forth to you. And this is telling you where your lineage, showing you where your lineage comes from, black man. They laid open the books of the law, as it says in 1 Maccabees 3 and 48. The heathen laid open the book of the law, and they painted their images. Going back, looking at the beginning from Genesis, when it's dealing with Adam, the images that you should be seeing match you, if there is any images. But we're dealing with something that has replaced the images with their own image, and have our people worshiping the creature. And they are man worshiping all day long, every day. We're going to go to the book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 7. We're going to find out exactly what else is going on with our brothers and sisters out there, and they're worshiping of Christ and Yahushua and not serving the Most High. This is damaging. This is very dangerous, and y'all should be warned of that, and that's what you're getting right here. The book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 7. Keep thee far from the false manner, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not, for I will not justify the wicked. The Most High is telling you right there, brothers and sisters, keep yourselves away from the wicked ways. Don't follow this world. Don't let these brothers entice you with this Christ crucified, Yahushua crucified mess. This is not for you. It was never meant for you. You were born in an everlasting covenant, and you are still under that covenant. You just merely stop keeping the laws, and you merely have to return to keeping His laws. That's what this is all about. It says, and for I will not justify the wicked. He said He's not going to justify the wicked by lying to you, by you believing that lie that they have told you and you didn't study for yourself. And let's see what the definition of justified is. Justified definition: declared or made righteous in the sight of God. You would not be declared nor made righteous in the sight of God, because these brothers are speaking wicked to you, and they have you doing something against your God. Understand, brothers and sisters, you are doing something against your God. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 25. And we're going to find out a little bit more what else these brothers got you out there doing against your God. So here we are in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 5. And thou shalt love thy God with all thine heart, and with all thine soul, and with all thine might. Now, you heard what it says out there? That's Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thine soul, and with all thine might. And with these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. Okay? And it's talking that you should be on these laws, statutes, and commandments from the time you wake up to the time you go lay it down. You should be examining what you have already read and researched and learned. You should be examining that in your mind consciously, daily. You should be examining all of these things as you have done. And this is what it's all about. Now, verse 6 and 25, it says, and it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he had commanded us. Now, it's telling you that our God, it ain't saying nobody right there before, ain't nobody by him or with him or nothing. It's plural. It's a singularity standing there. It says our God. You brothers and sisters have been duped by these charlatans that's running around calling themselves worshipers of the Most High. They're not serving the Most High, they're serving man. So we're going to go on down with it. That was Deuteronomy 6 and 25. And it shall be our righteousness, okay, if we observe to do all his commandments. Not some of them, all his commandments. A lot of brothers they claim they have their understanding for the word all, but they can't grasp the concept of the word only. So that's also confusing them when it says only and they still want to give a homeboy shout out. Only. What does only mean? What does all mean? Only and all are something entirely two different words, but they mean exactly the same thing. That's what's so crazy about it. Exactly the same thing, but these brothers cannot seem to figure that out. Only and all. What does that mean? Only and all. Only and all. They mean exactly the same thing. We're going to the book of Romans chapter 4 and verse 13. We're going to get it again. We're going to find out exactly what's been going on, because there's a lot going on that's keeping a lot of our people confused and they be lost out there, folks. So we got to wake them up. We got to wake them up. The book of Romans chapter 4 verse 13. For the promise that he should be here, for the promise that he should be the hearer of the word, who's not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith. For the promise of Christ crucified. Listen, the promise of Christ crucified, I will save you. For the promise of Christ crucified, that he should be the heir of the word of the world, the heir of the world, was not to Abraham or to his seed. You see, Christ was given, in their pushing in their doctrine, they're saying that the world is given to Christ. The world is his. He's the heir of the kingdom. And their promise is saying of the promise that he should be heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law. It's only through the law. We were born under the law family. This is what this is telling us. These brothers can't break it down because they full of pride and they got vanity on them. And they tend to steer clear of brothers that really study these words for themselves and deal with the Most High daily. We don't deal with all the rhetoric of, well, it's this and it's that. I'm sick of these brothers trying to interpretate things for the Lord. And he's telling you exactly what things are. Exactly is what they are. And these Negroes are so empty-minded that they have to find up something, make something other than what he's saying. And he said that for the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham's seed. He was not given to you, Israel. He was not given to you, black man, or to his seed through the law. You were given the law. You weren't given Christ crucified. Christ crucified was given to you by your oppressors. Understand this. This is why you're serving, worshiping the sun god. But y'all just hard-headed. But through the righteousness of faith. So what is our righteousness of faith? That we keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Y'all want all of the law, statutes, and commandments are done away with. That don't make no sense. Y'all, you Christian, y'all wild with it. It don't make no sense. And then a lot of these pretending ABC campers do the same mess. Y'all better get right, Ox. We don't have a little bit of time. Let's go to the book of Galatians, chapter 5 and verse 2. And we're gonna get it again. We're gonna see exactly what else is going on. Because I even hear a lot of these little alphabet campers be, he ain't with no group, he ain't in the truth. Who told you the truth only lies within them little makeshift cults? Y'all ain't pushing no truth, y'all pushing lies, y'all pushing people to hell. All y'all gonna get thrown right in the lake of fire with that Yahweh Shai shit. Every single one of y'all, man. That's real talk. Let's go to the book of Galatians, chapter 5 and verse 2. Book of Galatians. Behold, we're gonna find out from the lips of your I guess y'all would call him your number one, because every time somebody open their mouth about the Bible, well, that ain't what Paul said. Well, let me tell you something. I don't give a shit what Paul said. I don't get two rats asses about what anybody says other than the Most High, and that's real talk. And that's if it doesn't match up with the Torah, I know that it's some bull. And you niggas want to eat the bull, and y'all want to push the bull butter out there. We're gonna put that bull butter on everybody out there. That ain't what it is. The book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 2. Behold, I, Paul, say unto you, that if ye be circumcised, Christ shall profit you nothing. What is Paul saying right there, brothers and sisters? He said, if ye be circumcised, Christ profit you nothing. That's telling you, if you are born of the house of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the true covenant that was given to you in the Torah, Christ crucified will profit you nothing. This is coming from Paul's lips. As he said, behold, I, Paul, say unto you, that if ye be circumcised, if ye be of the house of Abraham, Christ shall profit you nothing. We have never had a man sacrifice for us at any time in the Old Testament, nor in the New Testament. That's what you Negroes believe, because that's what they gave the Gentiles. This is what Paul has been preaching to Gentiles. That's why a lot of people don't know the conflict that's going on in there with Paul, because they are unlearned in the scriptures. That's why the Most High says, study, show thyself approved. So ain't nobody else going to be able to stand up there before the Most High and say, I taught him that, Lord, so he get a pass, right? It don't work like that. It's not going to work like that. He says, study, show thyself approved. We're going to go to the first book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 1 and verse 23. And what we're doing here is we're letting the scripture clear it up itself to show you that this is coming directly from the scriptures. You're not getting it because you are dealing with brothers that are not learned in the scriptures. They're not put aside their vanity in order to hear what the Most High has got to say to them. In the book of 1 Corinthians, from your boy once again, here comes Paul. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 23, and here he is. But we preach Christ crucified, unto the Jews, unto the Israelites, you black man here in America, unto the Jews a stumbling block, and unto the Greeks foolishness. See, they had to fool these low-level ones to control them, as well as to control your black-ass black man. Got you worshiping the same dead horse that they out there worshiping. Got you calling on the same dead horse that they out there calling on. But he tells you, your beloved Paul is telling you yet, once again, he is telling you in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 23. But, and we should start at verse 22. But, we're just going to start at 23. But we preach Christ crucified. They're preaching to you Yahweh Shai crucified. They're preaching to you Christ crucified. They're preaching to you exactly the same thing that the Christian church is preaching to you. Y'all might as well just stayed in Christianity. Y'all done joined cults. Y'all got these little niggas puffed up in their head. And then y'all got these pastors running around doing it big too. But unto the Jews a stumbling block. This is what has a lot of you brothers stumbled up, because y'all want to put something before your God, and that's going to get you killed. Because he doesn't play that. He said, have no God before me. Don't put one next to me. There ain't one beside me. He didn't make one and put one beside him. How many times y'all got to hear that before y'all get it stuck in your head? But y'all, yeah. But He says, unto the Jews a stumbling block and unto the Greeks foolishness, because they're out there preaching that they got redemption and salvation. No, he said he's coming to make a full end to all the Gentiles. The destroyer of the Gentiles is right at the window. And y'all really don't know that? Come on, man. Y'all ain't been seeing no signs. Y'all ain't been paying attention to nothing. But whenever the brothers come at y'all with this truth, brothers like myself, come at and bring this truth out to these brothers and what's going on, we get shunned. Because these brothers is idiot-minded, and they well, Christ, the Lord didn't show it to me. What Lord are you looking to show you something? Because you got to know what Lord you're dealing with to know who's showing you something. If you're just dealing with some old bullshit, Christ crucified, you're just dealing with some old bullshit, Yahweh shall crucified, then what you gonna know? Who's showing you something? Who's directing your path? What is directing your path? That's why it said in the book of John that you worship you know not what. Silly man. Silly little men worshipers. We're going to go to the book of Acts. We're going to grab chapter 5 and verse 29. But we still going to deal with it though, because a lot of these brothers are hard-headed, but we're going to bring it out. The book of Acts chapter 5 and verse 29. And Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than man. This is where a lot of these brothers getting confused. The Most High said, worship him, and he alone. Even the prophets all spoke about the Most High, and they said, worship him and worship him alone. Now, how is it that this Christ figure been implanted into the Bible, and y'all believe this Christ figure over all the prophets that were sent before? And including the true prophet of the Most High. He said the same thing, the exact same thing that all the prophets before said. But y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all want that gobbledygook. Oh, we died in the cross. Really? That you're unlearned. Unlearned, family. Unlearned. Book of Acts chapter 5 verse 29. We ought to obey God. Paul said we ought to obey God. Paul is y'all's idol. Y'all ought to listen to what Paul said. Y'all don't want to listen to God or Christ, the true Christ. But y'all want to listen to Paul, Peter, John. Y'all need to ask yourself, are these brothers really writing these books? Or who some of these brothers are being written for in this book? But they don't point that out. Romans chapter 7 and verse 1. That's where we're going to go next, folks. And we're going to keep this moving right along. So remember, the topic of the class is Christ crucified is of no effect to you, Hebrew. You are born under the covenant. You are of the everlasting covenant made by the Most High Yah with your father Abraham. Here we go. The book of Romans chapter 7 verse 1. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law. That what? That know the law. This is you, Israelite, you, Abraham, you, Isaac, you, Jacob. This is you. You were the one given the law in the book of Psalms, was it not? Said he had not dealt so with any other nation. This is talking to you. You that know the law, how that the law had a dominion over a man as long as he liveth. So as long as you walk in this earth, and as long as you walk in this plane of existence, in this form or the next form or the next plane or the next plane, you are still going to be under the law. You understand? No matter where you exist on, what plane you exist on, you're still going to be under this law. Period. The law has dominion over a man as long as you live. So what do you think when you die? You can just all of a sudden just be the biggest sodomite in the spiritual world you can find? Nigga, get real. Y'all niggas is out y'all minds, man. We're going to go to the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 25. Yeah, we're going to find out exactly what's going on here, because there's a lot of stuff going on and nobody explaining anything. The book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 25. Who changed the truth of God into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever? Who changed the truth of God into a lie? This is Paul said. He said, who changed it? Who changed the truth of God into a lie? and got used to worshiping and serving the creature. He did. He told you he preached Christ crucified, but to the Jews a stumbling block. Paul changed it. Your good lying ass Paul is what's got these Negroes out here running around with that Paul spirit on them yet again. You understand? These brothers in these little alphabet campers have that Paul spirit on them, preaching Christ crucified to these brothers out here that's already lost and trying to come back from being lost out of the darkness. But they're getting another dose of Jesus crucified, nailed to the cross. Wow. But they say that these are learned leaders. Okay, whatever. We're going to the book of Romans chapter 3 and verse 21. We're going to see exactly what else is going on here. Because there's a lot of things going on. Book of Romans chapter 3 and verse 21. But now the righteousness of God without the law is manifest. What? I'll read that again. But now the righteousness of God without the law is manifest, being witnessed by the law and the prophets. Now they're telling you that because you don't have the law, now your righteousness is manifest because you're free to be whatever you want, do all this kind of nonsense, push that gay agenda. Your God, take his covenant that he made that he wouldn't drown everybody again and turn it into a faggot symbol. Really? Really? Y'all just want to do anything and everything that you possibly can to antagonize and piss him off. That's why he's going to destroy your wicked asses, man. You Gentiles are hard-headed. And then you chocolate-covered Gentiles is even worse. Even worse. That's why he said all Israel ain't Israel. Confusion of faces. This is the confusion of faces because these niggas is running around here claiming to be Israelites and they're just Gentiles. They're Gentile men worshipers. Worshiping the creature more than the Creator who is blessed forever. The book of Romans, chapter 3 and verse 21. But now the righteousness of God is without the law is manifest. The law is done away with. Now your righteousness has manifested. You can be the best faggot out there you can possibly be. You can be the best rapist out there you possibly can be. You can be the best pedophilia out there you can possibly be. You can be the best animal worshiper and rapist out there that you can possibly be. That's what it's saying right there. Y'all understand that? So y'all continue with it. You continue with it if that's what it want to be, okay? Being witnessed by the law and the prophets. Being witnessed by the law, we're witnessing it every day. Every day. Anytime you go out there on the streets, you see these sisters walking around half naked, you witnessing it. That's cool. You witnessing it. So we're going to see it every day. But because of that, we're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27 and verse 6. And because of that, it's really put a lot of things on it. That's really put a lot of things on it. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 26. Cursed be he that conformeth not all the words of the law, and do them. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed be he that conforms not all the words of the law and do them. As the Most High said, you cursing yourself. You cursing yourself by doing exactly what was told you not to do, Israel. He said, Christ crucified is of no effect to you. And he knew what he was doing when he was doing it. That's why he was giving you warning. That's why he says, am I not a sinner? Am I still not counted a sinner? Yes, you counted a sinner. You transgressing the law. You're teaching people the transgression of the law. And that's exactly what these brothers are still teaching in these camps, transgressions of the law. So here are the words that the Most High sent to be spoken to you, Israel. Check it for yourself. You can find it starting in the book of Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 38, where they laid open the books and sought to paint their image. The book of Genesis 5 and 4, through Adam, through the effect of Adam, is where your lineage resides. This is why this is no effect unto you, because your covenant came from Adam from the beginning. Exodus 23:7, For he will not justify the wicked. He's not going to find, you can try to find any ways you want to try to justify these wicked Negroes, but it's not going to be anything for them. The Most High is not going to justify them. He's not going to make them right. He says that they're wicked, and they will be labeled and destroyed as the wicked. In Deuteronomy 6:25, it says, it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these laws, statutes, and commandments of our God. If we come back to him, Israel. That's the same thing it's been being the whole time. Come back to him. It ain't been no new covenant. It's still the same. It's an everlasting covenant. The book of Romans chapter 14 and verse 13. It was not sent unto Abraham. Christ crucified was not sent to you, Abraham's seed. Black man, Israel, Hebrew, transatlantic slaver. Christ crucified was not sent unto you. In the book of Galatians 5:2, Paul said unto you, it will profit you nothing. It will profit you nothing. Christ crucified won't profit you, Hebrew. 1 Corinthians 1:23, he tells you that we preach Christ crucified, but unto the Jews a stumbling block. You're going to get caught up in this, Hebrew. He said, don't get caught up in this. Don't listen to this, Hebrew. You were born to the covenant, Hebrew. Christ crucified is of no effect to you, Hebrew. Call on your God, Hebrew. In the book of Acts 5:29, we ought to obey God, Hebrew. Y'all want to obey something other than the Most High God, Hebrew. Y'all got to come back to him. Come back to your God. That's what this is about. Romans, the book of Romans 7:21, it said how the law had a domination over a man as long as he lived. You know this, that the law has domination over you as long as you live. And that's every man on this planet. That's every man, whether they were given the law or not, but they're not having it as you were given, but it does have domination over them, dominion over them, as long as they live. That's what it's saying right there. In the book of Romans chapter 1, verse 25, Paul is telling you again, through my lie that he changed the truth of God into a lie. This is why he is preaching it to the Gentiles. They have no salvation, so to speak, as yours, unless they are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Other than that, he really don't give a shit. Y'all think it's a game. It's not. It's not. Romans 3:21, the righteousness of God is telling you that now the righteousness of God is manifest because we done did away with the law. Now he's telling the Gentiles this. You see? But these Israelites are picking it up too. So they believe similitudes from what the Christian church believes. That's why a lot of them are going to be led astray. In the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7:27 and verse 26, it says, cursed be him that conformeth not all the words of the law and to do them. Cursed is you that don't try to conform to do all the laws, statutes, and commandments in this book. He said it's a curse on you not to attempt to. It's a curse on you not to do so. It's a curse on you that choose to go against the laws. It's a curse on you to be including Yahweh shall bless. Instead of praying directly to the Most High, you're giving a homeboy shout out. That's a curse on you. You understand this? That is a curse unto you because you're adding to the word. He said, don't add to it nor diminish from. You are adding to it when you say, and Yahweh shall bless. This is to you, brothers and sisters out there. I want to do better with the channel and get a little more work done into it, put more videos up, show some activity. Christ is of no effect to you, Hebrew. All praises to the Most High. May y'all keep awakening from your slumber and come back to your God. Shalom, family.